being your authentic self. This was a topic that came up in a talk that I gave on Thursday evening to a group of public speakers and people that want to make more meaningful connection with others and to be able to improve on their ability to speak to other people. And I can't honestly say that I have any expertise whatsoever in public speaking. I don't know the rules, and somehow instinctively I feel I break them anyway. But irrespective of the rules, I do feel that on my own journey, one thing that I've been able to really open to is how to express your authentic self. And I think that is the very fundamental point to public speaking, is to make connection. And you can't connect to somebody if you're bringing any idea of a person you think you have to be. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I thought I might be able to share with you a live video I have put up, not a live video, I went live on Facebook, and I thought I might be able to share that with you, but I haven't yet figured out how to do that. If any of you know how to do that in easy steps, please let me know. I'd love to know how that can happen. But in the meantime, I'm happy to speak to this point. It seems one of the more important points of my talk. So how do you speak to people authentically without all the fears and things that come up? Well, for the first thing, I want to say that the reason that we don't connect with people, and that's not just around public speaking and how our audience responds to us, but I'm talking about if you're in sales, if you're working in a company and you need to speak to people, but not even just that, just you're having a conversation with somebody, you're out on a date, you're listening to your friend, whatever it is that you're doing in your life, you will be speaking to other people. Almost all of us will be. And so what I said is true. If you're coming forward with an image, even if that's an image that you hold, as the example of one of the people I spoke to recently, you hold that image quite solidly. What I want to say is you're well in control of what you're portraying. So maybe you're well in control. Maybe you know all of the rules around public speaking that will make you more technically gifted, let's say. And perhaps you're well in control of not letting anything out you think that you don't want to have shown about you. And you've overlaid that with the kind of person you think is going to be liked. Well, there's your answer if you're asking the question about why you're not making connection with people. It's not you. And people are all one thing, which is we are all energy sensitive beings. So as an energy sensitive being, you can feel if somebody's being authentic or not. You can feel if it's the real deal. You might not articulate it, it might not be conscious, but you will definitely know. And so you can't connect, because connection is made you can connect to ideas in your head. So somebody has some clever ideas and words, great, fantastic. So your head connects to that. But when we feel connection, it's in our heart, and we only feel what's real. So that's the first thing. If you're holding on to your persona or your idea of what you need to be, then you're not going to experience connection, and neither will the people you're talking to. But how do you get past your fear of actually being your authentic self? Well, there's a ton of information on this. But speaking to this from my own experience, I guess the simpler, shorter answer to that question is first become aware of what you're telling yourself about yourself. What things are you saying about you that are holding you back from being able to get in front of people? Do you think you're not good enough in one way or another? Invariably, that's going to be true. So I'll give you a kind of shorthand for this, because there's specific videos that address the other aspects of this that I've made. Please go to my YouTube channel, and you will find all my videos, like a library of videos on topics that I think are helpful for you. I haven't managed to get them all over to Instagram yet. I've only just started making videos on Instagram and sharing them over, but nevertheless, you'll find them all on YouTube. Go to the link in bio for my website, and you'll find all my social media links there, including the YouTube one. Okay, so where was I? I just talked myself out of my point. So I'm talking about your authentic self, and I'm talking about understanding the sense of not good enough that you're carrying. So first of all, accept, I guess, that you carry that you have this idea of yourself, whatever it might be. I'm not enough this, I'm too much of that, this doesn't work, I fail at that, whatever it is you're saying. Understand it's a construct, so just accept it. First of all, just accept it. Accept that that's how you're feeling, and don't judge the part of you. Don't make it wrong. It's not right or wrong, it just is. Don't make it wrong. Just accept it, breathe into it, lean into it, so to speak, and accept it with a sort of neutral energy, let's say. Okay, so that's the first thing. When those thoughts come up in your mind that would be limiting of you, such as the ones I just described, for being able to really express yourself authentically, again, ask yourself, what if it isn't true? It isn't. It definitely isn't true. So do that, because it creates space. It disrupts that thinking. Another shorthand, remember a time when you have spoken openly with a friend, with a loved one, with a family member, whoever it might be, when you can speak and be exactly who you are without fear. Remember that. Remember it in all the detail, the color, anything you might smell, anything you might have touched, anything you might have heard, everything visually that you can remember. Remember each and every part of that, because the remembering of that will bring that into your it's more than memory, it's more than in your head. Your whole body responds as if you're going through it again. And then if you have to speak to somebody, or you want to speak to somebody from an authentic place, you'll already have flooded your body with all of that sensation of, let's say, opening, rather than the constricting feeling that you get when you're trying to protect yourself or you feel not good enough. Let me think now, how else to be your authentic self? So you're seeing you're not good enough, you're bringing awareness to it, you're breathing and bringing acceptance to that, you're remembering a time when you have spoken authentically, and then just where you put your attention is really important. So if you're putting your attention on the limitations, then you're just going to create more of the same, because what you're resisting, which is the fear, is going to persist. So what if you shift your focus into the possibilities of just speaking openly? What if you imagine a scenario where you do speak and it feels fantastic and liberating, and it's like just opening your wings and flying? What if, okay, maybe that's a bit fanciful for you, but what if you do that? What if you just imagine that you can do so, and you're not nervous and you're not uncomfortable? And you don't need, here's a key point. You're not attached to the idea of how the person receives that. So you're not at all attached to the outcome, because that's another reason we sabotage ourselves from being able to speak, is we're too worried, projecting into the future about what the outcome will be. Detach from the outcome. We speak because it's there, much like the old mountaineers climbed mountains because they're there. At least that's what I used to read. So we do it simply because. We do it because we are, because this is the truth of who we are. You don't need another reason for that, and you don't need a validation, and you don't need a certain outcome. And any kind of fear you tell yourself, it might hurt that person, or I don't think they'll take it very well, know that that is reflecting back to you your own fear. You are fearing how you will be judged, not actually how they will respond to it or react to it. So all external reveals the internal. So look at your external, look at what you're fearing, look at what you're projecting, and remember, no fear, no anxiety can exist in the present moment. So keep bringing yourself back to the present moment. And get comfortable with the idea of failure, because there really is no such thing. But honestly, if you just start to accept that you can mess up and that's okay and everything's fine, then it gets a lot easier. So this has been a super fast delve into the idea of how to be your authentic self. I hope it has helped you. Please send your questions in. I'm going to be making regular live videos. When I figure out how to do this with Instagram, I'll do it with Instagram too. And if I can figure out how to share them, please let me know if you know of any tricks to do this easily. I shall be doing so, but I always appreciate the questions, and I'm more than happy to answer them. I'd really like to provide a kind of like resource for people if they want to connect to these sorts of areas, so that they can get some kind of mirror of how I've come through some things that might be of benefit to you.